So that's what I did for them last year. So,
Cool.
so when those opportunities pop up, oh, the other thing that's really cool, and I should have mentioned this. I should mention this. So I volunteered at Norcross High School a few times in their junior achievement program as a
Oh yeah.
coach and a judge. So they have amazing things. I wish they had that when I was in high school. So Delta sponsored the most recent one I participated in, because I've done this a few times now. And I helped coach, these were 10th graders, helped coach their presentations, which Delta actually wanted their presentations on improving their customer experience. And so I coached them one morning for, about 3 hours. Then I
Right.
came back and judged their presentations as well for that same program. So um, I do plan to do that again. Really love that, to go help the high school kids with their junior achievement, because they're entrepreneurial projects. They had to, I helped them, think of questions to answer, although the kids were amazing. They didn't need a whole lot of help, but I enjoyed doing that. So I'm going to do that business coach volunteer thing at Norcross High School again,
Great.
for
Yeah.
sure.
How was it received? Because my sons both went to Norcross, so I'm just how did they receive it? Was the school open to it, or I
No,
know?
no. Well, yeah, no. They recruit people like me to do this. We didn't have a lot of coaches the day I went. There's three of us, and three of us judged, not the same three. There was two different ones I met. So this junior achievement program, because it's all back when I was in school, I had heard of junior achievement, but it was separate from the school back then in Michigan where I
Right.
grew up. And no one really counseled me, hey, you ought to do this. I wish somebody had. But this is sponsored more. Delta puts money into it, and there's other companies too, of course. And so it's much more. They put a lot more importance on it.
Cool.
And I think all the kids, there was every kid's different, right? Some were super gung ho about it. Others were kind of just tagging along, but I think they're benefiting from it as well. And I try to make sure to get input from all the kids, not just the ones that open their mouth first, you know.
Cool.
Um,
Yeah, those programs are important. They're our future. They're the ones that are going to be driving the economy and creating opportunities and that type of thing. And they've got dreams early, and I think that's important. They've got a
oh
purpose.
yeah,
Yeah. So
I'm
good for
always
you to
impressed.
support. Yeah, to support those young people is so important out there.
Right. Yeah, I'm always impressed with young people that are that forward looking, that have big plans, that are ambitious at young age. It's part of my morning prayer for my grandkids is their ambition. And because I didn't really have it, I was just kind of going along. I did kind of have the sports ambition, but
Right.
I didn't have some of these other young people. They have big plans. I'm like, great, that's awesome.
The next Elon Musk out there, right?
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. So
Well, at least you can at least feel good about it looking back in life and say that maybe you had your finger on the pulse of that success. So
Right.
and an influence. But I think it's so important to hear your story. And it's not all about business. I believe in the principle of give to profit. Share with your consuming public what you stand for in business and what you support and cause. And that led to one of my business opportunities I've created called Q Up Fundraising. I help small local non-profit organizations raise money with a service application in the home streaming entertainment field. So it's a great product, great service. So it's more than just going out and making some money. Where can you give in your community to help support those causes that are important to you? Part of my profits in my Q Up fundraising, 50% of my profits go into a trust, and then on a quarterly basis, I pay them out to 4 different nonprofits: T to T, Towers to Tunnels to Tower, St. Jude, 2 national nonprofits that I support, and then 2 local. One is called SOFA. Uh, Supports those that are that are addicted to drugs, the drug problem that's out there in our communities. I give to that. I know the person that lost her son to a fentanyl overdose, and so I support that cause here locally. And then our local Kiwanis Club, I donate to help supporting the young people in high school, whether it be the FFA, the Robotics Club. We do a lot of fundraising and support the high school kids in our community. So with their ambitions in those areas. So um, I love hearing your story that you started out in network marketing and business.
That was my first kind of business attempt. Yeah, exactly. So
I think that's where most people start. And I'm all about network marketing because it gives you a franchise type structure that you can if you work the system and you have the right attitude and belief systems, apply yourself, you believe in the product and the service, you can have success with like anything else. So it's a great business model. I believe in also affiliate marketing. When you have a product that you use yourself, you just share it with somebody else. They use it, you get compensated for it.
Right.
So I'm big into the affiliate marketing aspect with good products and services. And that's how I built Q Up Fundraising, is through an affiliate program. So
yeah, I've been exposed a lot to things like that, and I know people that are successful at that, and so. And then,
I just encourage anybody out there is hearing it from somebody else in business. We say, well, gee, they have some more talent than I do, or special expertise or whatever. But hearing your story, you tried things, you learn from those things. Like network marketing gives you more personal development than business skills, anything else, I believe. But it takes
that was my first time even sort of trying to promote anything or sell anything, in any way. And then because they encourage so much reading, and that was easy for me, so to speak, because I'm a big reader. I read some great books that I probably wouldn't have read otherwise.
Right.
Some of the obvious ones are like How to Win Friends and Influence People, right? I've read that twice now, and every once in a while I'm like, I need to read it again.
Yeah.
Things like that, and a whole lot of other books, Think and Grow Rich, typical books like that are entrepreneurial oriented. So I've read many dozens of those now, but that started that process of reading those books.
He's talking about this
I
one.
have that.
He's talking about this one. I'm dating.
I read that.
Now, this particular book, since you've mentioned it, this always makes me think of Ben Gay. And, Charles Manson actually read that book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. So for what it's worth, I mean, Ben shared that with this, and because he worked in an area where he worked with prisoners, and he actually got to meet Manson. And so that was kind of an interesting share. He said, you know what book he was reading? And we're like, what? And I jumped in here. I have to mention this. Nobody's going to guess the number, but you'll never guess how many grandchildren Tom is affiliated with here, lack of a better word. If anybody's out there, I'm just going to 14. That's amazing. And he doesn't look ancient, but he's got 14 grandchildren, which, I applaud you on that. And the other 2 things that Tom mentioned, Habitat for Humanity and Big Brothers, Big Sisters. I think that's great that you did that. Just want to say thank you.
Yeah, right.
I'm
glad you brought that up. So, because I was a little brother when I was young. So my mom and dad had got divorced early on. And I had 2 different big brothers. The second one in particular, I was super grateful for, which I didn't even know he had been kind of a famous coach. He was retired then. And then I was coming up into high school when that happened. And my basketball coach knew who my big brother was. I'm like, how do you know who he is? He looks like some old guy to me. I mean, really old guy with a house on the lake, but he won 3 straight high school basketball championships in my high school, before I was born. And that's why he was famous, because he won 3 straight state titles. And I didn't know that because he didn't brag about himself at all. Him and his wife just were super cool. And do things with me as a little brother. And
That's
then,
nice.
so when I got married, my wife, she also was a big sister. And I was like, I should be a big brother since I was a little brother. So it just seemed natural to do
That's
that.
very, very
So,
cool. Yeah.
Well, let's
Hey,
sort of move to your business, your current business. So you've transitioned, getting your feet wet, getting your hands dirty, going into business for yourself in different avenues through network marketing and some other venues. So what brought you to, you created a company called Pinpoint Local
yeah.
Low
So,
Cost.
like I briefly mentioned, so the same people I worked with on one of the dropship marketing, they're the ones that pointed out to me about the opportunity for helping the local businesses with, and they originally just did websites and SEO being search engine optimization. So basically
thank you for sharing that with everybody.
branding yourself to Google primarily, although there's some evolution of search to more and more platforms, but Google still is number one. But to convince them that you're the most relevant for somebody searching something, and I just specialize in local SEO. By the way, there's other search engine for national stuff or even international, but I don't do that. I only do local, and
Right.
so it's geographically matters. When you pull up your phone, they know where you are. So when you look for something, does my client show up in the top or not? Or does their competitors show up? But so originally this company was a franchise, like I said at first, and they really just mostly did websites and SEO. Okay. But as I was interacting with some people, and there's more needs than that. There's an entire customer journey of becoming a new customer or client. And that's more than just websites and SEO. So there's awareness and there's findability. SEO is part of findability. There's the reputation management, which is overlooked a lot in research space. And then the conversions, which are primarily websites, although you can convert on other platforms, and then building up advocates for your business. So, and it's there's a lot of different ways people draw that in a graph, but Google originally came up with that term, the customer journey, but based on the new digital world as they saw it. Um, so I wanted to offer more to my clients because all the different touch points for clients, customers matter, and branding. I don't provide branding services, although I know some people that do, but I implement branding in that sense. And then consistency really matters. So if you've ever read one of the guerrilla marketing books,
Hmm.
I'm forgetting the author offhand, but for small businesses, one of your advantages, of course, is that, and some of this guerrilla marketing doesn't really scale up to big, massive corporations, but it's great for smaller businesses. And one of the key things is consistency because that builds credibility. Um, so that really matters a lot. And small businesses can be consistent. And but I wanted to be able to offer everything to support them because some businesses, they already have a good website, but they're not good at other things. Or maybe they need to run ads for awareness of some kind on different platforms. But most
Thomas, do
people
you mind if
don't
I
know how to do
brag on you a little bit here as to who you work alongside of? I won't mention names, but I mean, just to share this, and excuse me for interrupting, but law firms, medical, dental, retail, preschool, daycare, digital ads, content marketing, email marketing, obviously websites, social media. And I'm not going to get into the specifics. Even on your webpage, you have an endorsement of all people, which I found amusing and in a nice way. It was from someone in the legal profession as to what it is you did and helped them. It's on your website, and
Oh yeah, that's
I
Mark
right,
from Wells Law. So
right. I'll let you mention it, but I
if you
thought
need
that
a Peachtree Corners attorney for personal injury
right,
or divorce, or
right.
even immigration stuff. So Mark Wells, you go to his website And
And can you explain to us? I love what you how you map this out. It's called do it yourself, do it with me, or do it for me. Those three categories, the digital service models that you provide. Can you just like I know it's simplistic, but how did you come up with that when you were putting your website together? What was the thought process?
yeah, because most of my services are kind of a la carte, although I recommend packages to clients based on what they need, but it's really up to them, right? So there are software, they call them SaaS products that I have, software as a service. And those obviously are the cheapest, the least expensive items, and that's the do-it-yourself stuff. So they're really great. We're always improving them. The programmers, they're always improving them. So we got like Reputation Management Premium, Reputation Management Pro, for example, and they can just purchase a license for that and do it themselves. It'll bring in, for example, I'll pick on that product for a minute. It brings in all the mentions of the business anywhere on the web, all the reviews anywhere you might find them. Now, Google might send you notices already, but it's not just Google. There's Better Business Bureau, my horseback riding ranch. They get reviews on TripAdvisor, and there's, you know, countless websites where your business might get mentioned and you want to know about it. Usually they're positive things, but sometimes they might not be. And
Right.
even if it's positive, you can leverage that. So it pulls in all that data, allows you to answer all the reviews right there. One of the things I'm proud about doing for my clients is all their marketing. I build a business app for my business center app for my clients. And they have one login for everything, for monitoring everything about their business, for doing things on their business if they want to do the DIY stuff, or to monitor what I'm doing for them. So it's total transparency, 24/7, one login for everything. One login for your digital ads, for your social media, for your website traffic, for your website itself, for your reviews, for your business listings, which is a very much overlooked thing. So it's one login for everything. They can add obviously as many team members as they need, so there are SaaS services, and that's the do it yourself stuff. So if you're really tight on budget and you like doing that stuff yourself, great. You can do a lot of things by yourself. You can update your own website if you want to through there. You can of course, look for the reviews. You can look at your website traffic, all of that. So the do it with you is a little more common, actually, just because, you got my expertise or somebody
Right.
that's on my team doing some of the work for you, whether that's content marketing, for example. Social media is really hard to totally do from the outside because we need a pulse of what's going on in the business and the personal side of it. So social media is almost always more of a do it with me thing. But then the real hard things, like true parts of SEO are hard, and that's more common where I do it for them.
Okay.
There's also the business listings. The software kind of does it automatically. So, and then the digital ads to really optimize ads continually, whether it's on Google or Facebook or Amazon or LinkedIn. We do that for my clients. So when you're running an ad campaign, we do need some content from the client typically, but we do most all the work in that case. So
Yeah. And I'm sorry, Tom, and I'll be quiet, but I just like some of the questions you ask, even on your particular website or your LinkedIn profile as well. You asked, like, does your business take full advantage of internet customer traffic? We think we do, but I'm sure if someone of your professionalism got behind the wheel, you'd probably say, no, you're not doing this the right way. And you acknowledge the fact that people are experts in their industry, but what you do is give them that extra lift, what they can do out there. Or you even ask this one, is your business connecting with all the local businesses searching for your products or services? I think everybody struggles with that. You
Yeah.
know,
Plus, it markets and everything's always changing.
right.
So the big change recently is AI, of course, and we've built AI into a lot of our tools, including those SaaS tools. So
Yeah, we got Jim.
yeah,
Jim,
I just looked down. I was kind of ignoring those things below, but but I
Oh,
looked down. I saw
he
Jim's name.
finally responded. He said, "Good evening, guys." Okay,
All
thanks,
right,
Jim.
that's
I
cool.
know Jim wants to come back on because he's got some new play toys and tools out there he wants to share with us, Tom. So we'll have to get him back on.
Love to have him back
I
on.
see you put my free report link on there,
Yes.
and let me
I was
say
going to ask
something
you to
about it.
explain, when they come to what is it? What do you offer in that free report?
Yeah. So although I'm about to start selling it, but it's still free right now. Um, but that's part of my mastermind group. I'm going to start selling it. We're just trying to determine the right price. Um, there'll be certain people who get it free through my referral marketing and stuff. But anyway, the point is, it gives you a snapshot of where the business is at online today. So all the virtual doorways for the business, is and it automatically compares the business to their industry. So you're not comparing apples and oranges, you're comparing apples to apples. So if you're a daycare, it's going to compare your business to daycare. So it'll give grades, but
Right.
we're going to pull data from over 400 websites about that business. So it's going to check all your business listings, for example, and almost every small business I test have a big problem there. Fortunately, it's the easiest thing to fix, but they don't even know how many business listing sites are out there. It's a complex world. It's always changing. There's also 3 business distribution centers that are sort of like the credit bureaus, and you got to be listed in those because other websites pull business information from those areas. Those
Okay.
3, it's like I liken it to the credit bureaus,
Mhm.
and almost nobody knows they even exist, but you need to have your business synced in there so it's accurate. So most businesses are just missing in lots of places, and that's missed opportunities. But a lot of them are just wrong. So my old accountant friend, he's changed partners, locations, phone numbers, and that's all over the internet. All his wrong contact information.
Right.
So you want to fix that and control that and lock down as many as you can because they get changed for various reasons. They go bad. People can actually change them if you're not monitoring all that stuff or locking them down. Some they can lock down, some we can't. It just depends on the software API of the listing sites. But yeah, I sync them all up, even in the infotainment systems and the high-end luxury cars, hotels, all kinds of places. But there's a lot of listing sites. So it checks your listings, how you're doing on your listings, gives you a score, compares you to your industry. It'll check your reputation, your reviews on various platforms, Google,
Right.
Facebook, places like that. Compares you to your industry. How many reviews per month are you getting compared to your industry? How many reviews total do you have compared to your industry? All of this. Do you need to work on that? And then it'll compare it'll look at your website and compare it to your industry as too. There's a lot of technical aspects about the website it checks out, but and Google cares about that. It'll check your search results for your basic service you're providing. So
Nice.
locally, and then now we just added a little farther out. So it depends on your business too, exactly how important that is too. So like my daycares, they have parents like 30 miles away. So the free report only does a few miles away, but I can check the other two to see how you look, how you
Right.
show up farther away. And very few people, unless they're paying somebody to help them, show up everywhere they need to or want to. So it checks that. It checks your digital ad opportunities. If you're running any ads, we usually find them. If you're not, it just gives you the opportunity of what you could be getting if you're running like Google ads, for example. Um, and so it checks those virtual doorways of the business. So it gives you a good snapshot of what your business looks like online. So this is ideal for a business that's already been in business a while. I mean, if you're just starting, you're going to look bad, but that's because you're just getting started.
I was going to ask you, what do you do with somebody like myself just starting a new enterprise?
Yeah, well, we might run a report, but it won't be as valuable to you. We can talk about those importance of those virtual doorways, though. So,
Okay.
because what I'll do in the free report typically is I give a Zoom link or a calendar link to set up a 30-minute Zoom call.
That's
So they
nice.
get the report plus 30 minutes with me to obviously answer questions or give recommendations, or because they might be strong in one area and weak in another, but it's sort of like the weak link in a chain analogy for becoming a customer, because customers are pretty spoiled in the United States, and they expect, and you want to keep your branding the same. When they walk in the store, based on their going to the website, they don't want it to look like two totally different businesses, right? So I don't
Right.
control the in-store stuff, of course, but that's not my expertise. But um, you do want, you don't want your Facebook profile and your LinkedIn profile and your website to look like all these different businesses. You want them to look the same, the same. So they're comfortable doing business with you. So, but anyway, so the snapshot report, yeah, it covers those virtual doorways to your business. Yeah, and the social media, I didn't mention that. So it checks some of the basic highest end social media markets compared to your industry as well. So based on engagement metrics, the typical stuff that you would check for engagements, how many people follow you, or how many people like your post, or how often do you post, things like that.
Okay, cool. Good. Yeah, because we've got a lot of people out there maybe hearing this for the first time. They're starting
Yeah.
something out, have no clue what they should
Right.
be
And
building a
this is
foundation.
right. And this is designed for local B2C businesses. So it doesn't, it's not as valuable to B2B businesses, although the website is the website. That's the same. Um, Reputation is pretty much the same, but it's designed for local businesses looking for local customers.
Okay.
That's what my agency is designed for, and that's what the report is designed for.
Okay.
So it's
Good.
a great fit for brick and mortar businesses, although service industry businesses can benefit as well. Like I do have HVAC contractor clients, but particularly if you have a brick and mortar location business, that's the home run. That's the best
Yeah.
fit. That's the best fit. So
Cool.
that's why it's great for daycares and stuff like that. Medical, urgent cares, And so that's the sweet spot right there. And if we're before we run out of time, I also have unique ability to help multi-location businesses. So like I
Really?
was
Okay.
managing 11 urgent care, marketing for them. Again, one login, they can compare locations. Hey, why is this location getting better reviews than that location? They can dig into that and see all that evidence right there in the one login. So
And Thomas, I was just going to ask, is there an ideal customer or industry that you prefer to work in, or are you open to I know you mentioned it's B2C is your preference,
yeah,
but is there a particular industry that
yeah, that's a great question. So I've been, I've talked to other agencies that have been in the business longer and very successful, and listened to podcasts, and a lot of them promote niching down to a particular industry. So, but a lot of them went through the process I've gone through, which is like, hey, I'll help whoever needs help. So, I have a lot of variety in my client base at the moment, but I am trying to focus on the daycare, preschool, the medical and the legal world. So medical includes
okay,
dental, eye
right.
eye care, all of that. So I'm still looking to see which one really emerges, but I've helped all of those, and I want to, I appreciate that. So
Well, good
um,
deal.
yeah, I do know one marketing agency is the opposite. He's all about process, so he takes on whatever clients, and he does awesome. So it's doable.
Mhm.
But so I'm kind of focusing on those at the moment. because I got a new package I just created because I was doing some research. It was like 30% of the attorneys that left their law firms in 2022 in Georgia left to start their own firms.
Own
So I've
firm.
created a new package
How
for
about
packages for,
that?
because they're in a competitive world, the legal world. They spend a ton of money on marketing of all kinds. You can't help notice it driving out down the street, right? Or watching TV. And so they need to get started in their competitive world. And I got a package to help a new law firm get going pretty fast and start competing for business online. So
Awesome. Well, we're at the 6:49 mark, and I believe, Thomas, you have a tennis lesson coming up here, so we
it's
don't.
7:30. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
Well, I appreciate you cutting time out of your busy day to come on and share your story, your business, what you're doing. And we'll encourage, I know a guy now, so that can help you.
Oh yeah,
So-
absolutely.
yeah.
So definitely I got a better picture of what you do and that type of thing. Anybody that's out there, check out the free report while it's still free. I guess the best way to put it, right?
Yeah.
I'm afraid to ask, when does that stop being free, Thomas?
Once I settle on a price,
Okay.
I
I think the website says a $349 value
Yeah.
or something like
right.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's super valuable for them to get that. It'd be hard for them to get that information otherwise. And if you paid a consultant, you'd pay a lot more than that.
Right.
I at least $5,000 probably. I'm never going to sell it for that much, but I try to find out what people are charging for things.
Sure.
But yeah, so yeah, or they can email me at Thomas at pinpointlocalnorcross.com if they especially if they heard the podcast and they have a question or whatever. Maybe they're not
They
sure.
can contact through your website as well.
They can. There's a contact button on there, which
Okay.
that's my primary call to action on my website is to set up a discovery call. Discover what they need, what they want, whether I'm a good fit for them or not.
Sure.
Because sometimes I just refer them out to somebody else if it's not a good fit. I'll be like, I'm not the person you need. You need X or Y.
Cool. Wonderful. Mark, you got anything else?
That's about it. I just want to say thank you we finally connected, because I do get to see Thomas every now and then at some events that we have with Peachtree Corners Business after hours. The last official, it was after hour, was our, I always call it the Touchdown Club, but it was our big fundraiser end of the year for the football season. And the thing I always remember about Thomas when I first met him, he is a true blue Michigan fan, and he wears that blue and he's proud of it.
Yeah.
So and I know Tom's a Big Ten fan here with his Badgers. I won't say it too loud. I like Penn State, so that's kind of crazy that there's three people in the Southeast. Man, we better watch what we say. We'll get tarred and feathered off the show.
Right. Yeah. We don't
We
play
didn't even
Wisconsin
mention-
this year, or we don't play Penn State or Wisconsin this year.
I know.
Unless they both make the championship game, we won't play.
Right.
It's the Big Ten's so big now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we didn't even mention that Georgia thing. So, God forbid.
Yeah, and I used to work for Georgia Tech Research Institute. But
Did you really?
Yeah.
Nice.
That was my
Nice.
last job I had before I quit to do the business full time. So,
All right.
Yeah, it's really neat that I met Thomas. I'll just share the story, and it was an after hours thing in the evening at the Firebird. I think they were having cocktails and little eateries, and he and I sat down and just talked. And he's so easygoing and easy to talk to that, I just I got to get this guy on Elevate Your Profits. We need to get you back so you can really talk more about how and why you touched on it, but really get into the nitty gritty as to your agency and what you're doing.
no, yeah, that'd be great. We can pick a more narrow topic and explore that. That'd be great.
Right.
And I appreciate you, Mark, how prepared you are with all your questions and the background research you did. That's awesome.
Well, thank you. I try. I try. I had to do it, or he'll shame me. You know, he probably would have said, "You know these people, but you don't know their background." So,
Well,
no,
we don't, yeah.
I'm
At
sorry. Go
morning
ahead.
coffee, we don't necessarily talk about all those things. So.
We don't. We don't. And I really like to listen to other people. As a matter of fact, you know, my father-in-law, who's 92, now, Kenny, don't get mad. We didn't use his service, but that led us to look at some, not a hospice service, but a service that can take care of elderly. And, you know, he explained what he did. And I'm like, geez, I need to have, because Gina was the deciding factor in all that, her and her brother. But it's cool. There's, as you know, we've got a lot of different folks in there, different industries.
I have a great referral for that if you need it. So,
Okay.
guy named Chris. He's not in Peachtree Corners, but he is in Metro Atlanta. So.
Okay. See,
He referred some people for my mom up in Michigan.
oh, nice.
That's
Oh,
not his quote territory, but he knows people up there. But his
right.
territory is Georgia and Florida. So
Right. Yeah. Gina's dad's in Shamble. We are using somebody. It's working, but it was long overdue. You know, he needed some help. Tom Ginn, I want to say thank you for allowing us to have Thomas on. And, you know,
Absolutely. It's
yes.
our honor to have you here, and encourage anybody out there that has a business, B to C out there, go to the website, find out what he's doing, take advantage of the free report while it's still free, and see if there's a way that he can help you grow your business. So
absolutely.
Yeah. With that,
I think that'll conclude this session, but we will get you back. We do. We need to get you back.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Right.
Tom, I'll let you.
Yeah.
I'll
Thanks,
put
thanks
Thomas
guys
in the green room. Don't go anywhere until we're done. Okay. So hang in there. I'm going to put you in the green room.
All right.
In the green room.
That was a delight. But we've got some announcements that we want to make about next week. We have a guest coming in. It was sort of dovetail into what you're talking about there with yourself. But we're going to have Dan Altmeyer on, the author of this book, Aging Gracefully, Planning Thoughtfully. It's an area that we don't take a lot of time in planning, is what are we going to do when we reach that assisted living side of life? What are we going to do? How is that going to be handled? He's written a very comprehensive book on understanding how to plan your estate around taking care of those needs. Just a matter of time that we may need all or part of those types of services in our life. And this scenario, most people totally don't plan for. So I encourage everybody to join us next week, hear what Dan has to say. I've known Dan for about 3 years now. He's part of the Grow Life Academy. And he comes from that space in the service industry with insurances and that type of thing. So he's written a very comprehensive book that will be a great resource for any family, any individual out there that has those needs that are currently having right now or in the future. It's just a matter of time. So
thank you for the book, Dan. I got my copy over the weekend, so thank you so much.
Yeah.
So,
and I always like to do a plug for one of our sponsors, Q Up Fundraising. If you have an association with any sort of nonprofit organization and looking for a different way to raise money, a very lucrative way to make money for your organization, go to my website, qupfundraising.com. I've got a contact form that you can fill out to get more information, and fill out the survey form that I have there as well. That'll give us, when we get together, give me a better picture of where you're at today, what your needs are in capital creation or raising money, so we can see if we are a right fit for you. So don't hesitate to go to the website, fill out those 2 contact forms, and I'll get back with you, and we'll see if our platform is right for you and your organization.
thank you,
Anything
Tom.
else, Mark?
That's it.
Okay, bud.
I guess we can close it out, or if you want to add any specialty.
compliment those. Robert, thanks for joining us again. Hello, Jim. Good seeing you,
Jim
buddy.
Gursky, Robert Brooker,
Eric Bam.
Bam. Yeah. And I know there were some other people. Sherry Thatcher was watching. She's from the hospitality end of things. That's a blast from the past. The America's Mart, and I know Sherry rather well. Thank you for watching, and feel free next time if you want to make comments. And do join us next week. It'll be a great topic.
Yeah.
Because we're all getting older, not younger.
We all have parents. We all have
Yep.
that we may have had to be dealing with those situations now. Great opportunity to get your questions answered. So
Yes.
see everybody next week. Elevate Your Profits, 6 p.m. Eastern. Everybody have a great evening, and we'll see everybody next week.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.